Hello, and welcome to a video that you may not bother watching, and we'll be talking about rocks and minerals. Now, first off, let's talk about minerals. Minerals are naturally occurring substances that build up the Earth's crust. Now, if you question what the universal rules are to being a mineral, here are their four common characteristics. They are crystalline solids, made up of chemical elements and compounds, and have known chemical compositions, and they're also inorganic in nature. If you still don't have a vague idea of what a mineral is, then that's completely understandable. But if you are still confused, I'm not going to bother explaining anymore. Let us move on to the classification of minerals. Now, there are 5 types of minerals, but let's go through them one by one. Non-silicate minerals are those that don't contain silicon, while silicate minerals are those that do contain silicon. And if you ask me, it's like differentiating two flavors of ice cream, just because one doesn't have a cherry on top. Now, if we want to talk about silicates, they're classified further into two subgroups, mafic silicates and felsic silicates. Mafic silicates are those that contain iron and magnesium, while felsic silicates are those that contain potassium, sodium, and aluminum. As much as I hate the simplicity of how they classify the minerals based on the ingredients in the cookbook, we can all agree that this is easier to learn than actually knowing what a mineral is. But continuing on with the 5 types of minerals, there are metallic and non-metallic minerals. But I think you already get the idea. Metallic minerals are those that contain metallic elements like iron, gold, and silver, while non-metallic minerals are, surprise surprise, don't contain these elements. Geez, does no one read the dictionary anymore? Gem minerals are those that have uniquely bright colors. Because of how fun it was for our ape minds to see these minerals, we use them for jewelry. Such examples are jade, sapphire, and garnet. The last thing that we shall talk about minerals is the identification of said minerals. Now, if identifying a mineral is hard, and identifying a group of minerals is just one element away, then identifying a specific mineral is just like finding the difference between a hammer and a screwdriver. So geologists prefer looking at the physical properties to find newly found minerals. Fun fact, because of how simple this method was, we found 3,800 different minerals. 30 to 50 are found each year, while 1 or 2 are thrown out of the science books because they are basically the same thing. But moving back to the lesson at hand, minerals can be identified by its 6 physical properties: habit, luster, cleavage, hardness, color, and streak. Habit refers to the shape or growth pattern of the mineral. So if the mineral you found has the same characteristics as the already discovered ones, but is one corner more compared to said minerals, then congratulations, you found a new mineral. Luster refers to the quantity and quality of the light being reflected from the exterior of the mineral. It can either be opaque, transparent, or shiny. Then we have cleavage. I'm not even going to make a joke on that. Cleavage refers to the tendency of the mineral to break along a very smooth, flat, and shiny surface. Well, that was oddly specific. It's like asking someone to do a handstand on a bike while touching his nose on top of Mount Everest. If you can do that, then good for you. You're different. Next is hardness, a measure of the mineral's resistance to scratching. To measure this, they take 2 minerals, then they jam them together like a bunch of cavemen inventing fire. The harder minerals will scratch softer minerals. The last 2 physical characteristics are color and streak. As you know, color is just, well, the color. Well, that is so vague. What if 2 minerals have the same color? Heck, even the science book can agree with me. So, why even put it there? But leaving my irrelevant rants off the window, the last we have is streak, the mark or powder that the mineral leaves when it is rubbed on unglazed porcelain. This is more reliable than color because, as the science book says, it shows the true color of the mineral. Well, can you please elaborate on what you mean by true color? You're still identifying it on colors, damn it. Oh hey, here's a topic that my mind has somehow wandered into. Rocks. Rocks are natural materials that make up the most of Earth's lithosphere. So, coarse dirt is a rock then? If a rock has a very big mass, then these are composed of tiny particles of minerals compressed together due to pressure and temperature. There can be one mineral, or different minerals, or... Where am I going with this? Oh yeah, the rock cycle that makes up the three types of rocks. That's a very mighty fine transition there. So the rock cycle starts with magma cooling down to make igneous rocks. And by that statement, that is what igneous rocks are. Solidified lava. There are two types of igneous rocks. The extrusive rocks that are formed in the surface, and intrusive rocks that form beneath it. As the rock cycle continues, the igneous rocks are broken down to smaller fragments in a process known as weathering. Erosion, or the process of moving rocks from one place to another, will transport them to nearby bodies of water or deserts, and there we go. We have sedimentary rocks, rocks that form from sediments. If the rocks are buried, they are subdued to great temperature and intense heat, which turns them into metamorphic rocks, or rocks that are kind of magma, but not really reaching the full 100%. And this ends my lesson on rocks and minerals. So, how do I end this without making it look abrupt?